This is so hard. 4 simple words that slip out of our mouths with alarming frequency. They seem innocent enough, a mere observation of difficulty. But what if these words are more than just a casual complaint? What if they're a window into the darker aspects of our ego, holding us back in ways we never realized? Today, we're diving deep into this common phrase, peeling back its layers to reveal 4 of the most insidious attributes of the ego: entitlement, righteousness, anger, and victimhood. These aren't just abstract concepts, but real barriers that keep us stuck, preventing us from reaching our full potential. Let's start with entitlement. When we say, "This is so hard," we're often implying that things should be easier for us. It's the ego whispering, "You deserve a smoother path." This sense of entitlement sets us up for constant disappointment when reality doesn't match our expectations. Entitlement turns challenges into personal affronts. Instead of seeing difficulties as opportunities for growth, we view them as unfair obstacles placed in our way. This mindset creates a chasm between our expectations and reality, setting us up for constant frustration. But what if we flip the script? Instead of expecting things to be easy, what if we embrace the difficulty as a chance to prove our capabilities? This shift in perspective can transform our approach to challenges, replacing entitlement with a sense of purpose and determination. Next, let's examine righteousness. When we declare, "This is so hard," we're often elevating our personal struggle to a universal truth, dismissing the possibility that others might find the task manageable or even enjoyable. This attribute turns our personal struggles into absolute truths. We become closed off to alternative approaches or perspectives that might make the task easier. It's a lonely path, paved with missed opportunities to learn from others and expand our abilities. The antidote to righteousness isn't self-doubt, but curiosity. By approaching each challenge with an open mind, wondering how others might tackle it, we can dismantle our fortress of assumptions brick by brick, opening ourselves to new strategies and insights. Now let's talk about anger, the ego's explosive response to difficulty. When we repeatedly face challenges and declare them so hard, frustration can quickly boil over into anger. This anger isn't just directed at the task at hand, but often at ourselves for not being able to overcome it easily. Chronic anger in the face of challenges is often a mask for deeper emotions like fear of failure or feelings of inadequacy. It's easier to get mad than to face these vulnerable feelings. But this approach is like using a sledgehammer to open a locked door. It might make you feel powerful momentarily, but it leaves a trail of destruction and doesn't solve the actual problem. The key to managing this anger isn't suppression, but understanding. By digging into the roots of our frustration, we can address the underlying issues, transforming this destructive force into motivational energy. Lastly, we come to victimhood, perhaps the most debilitating ego response to difficulty. When we constantly frame our experiences as so hard, we're casting ourselves in the role of the victim. It's the ego's way of saying, "Poor me, look at how much I'm struggling." This mindset is a comfortable trap. It shields us from the pain of self-reflection and the hard work of personal growth, but it also robs us of our power, leaving us feeling helpless and stuck in the face of challenges. Breaking free from this victimhood requires a radical shift in perspective. It means embracing difficulties not as unfair burdens, but as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. When we own our struggles, we gain the power to overcome them. Now that we've unmasked these 4 attributes hiding behind "this is so hard," you might be wondering, how do they interact? Imagine them as 4 heads of the same hydra, each one feeding and supporting the others. Entitlement fuels righteousness, convincing us that our struggles are uniquely difficult and worthy of complaint. Righteousness breeds the unwillingness to consider that our approach might be flawed, which leads to anger when our rigid methods fail to yield results. Anger, when left unchecked, can push us into victimhood, as we blame the task, circumstances, or others for our inability to overcome the challenge. And victimhood circles back to entitlement, as we feel the world owes us an easier path. Breaking this cycle requires a multi-pronged approach. It's not enough to tackle each attribute in isolation. We need to address the underlying ego that gives rise to all of them. By cultivating awareness of our thoughts and reactions to difficulty, we can catch ourselves before we fall into the "this is so hard" trap. This creates a gap between the challenge and our response, allowing us to choose our reactions consciously. Another effective strategy is to regularly challenge our own perceptions of difficulty. Is the task truly as hard as we're making it out to be? Or have we inflated its difficulty in our minds? This doesn't mean denying genuine challenges, but rather examining them critically to ensure we're not making mountains out of molehills. Reframing is also a potent tool in combating these ego attributes. Instead of saying, "This is so hard," try, "This is challenging, but I'm capable of figuring it out." This subtle shift moves us from a position of victimhood to one of empowerment. Gratitude practice can be a powerful antidote to the negative spiral of, "This is so hard." By regularly acknowledging our capabilities and past successes, we remind ourselves that we're more capable than our ego would have us believe. For managing the anger that often accompanies perceived difficulty, techniques like deep breathing and progressive muscle relaxation can help us regain control in the heat of the moment. Coupled with long-term strategies like journaling to track our progress and achievements, these tools can transform our relationship with challenging tasks. It's important to note that overcoming these ego attributes isn't about denying genuine difficulties. Some tasks are genuinely challenging. The goal isn't to pretend everything is easy, but to approach difficulties with a growth mindset rather than a fixed one. Think of it as building a muscle. We don't get stronger by lifting only light weights and declaring anything heavy as too hard. We grow by progressively challenging ourselves, acknowledging the difficulty, but pushing through it anyway. As we work on reframing our approach to challenges, we'll likely encounter resistance. The ego doesn't give up its "this is so hard" mantra easily. It might try to convince us that acknowledging difficulty is necessary for self-compassion, or that we'll push ourselves too hard if we don't constantly highlight how hard things are. But this is just another trick of the ego. True self-compassion comes from believing in our ability to overcome challenges, not from constantly emphasizing their difficulty. Real growth comes from pushing our boundaries, not from staying safely within them. Remember, the extraordinary life that you long for requires extraordinary commitments. Moreover, as we loosen the grip of these ego attributes, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. Without the constrictive lens of, "This is so hard," we might discover strengths and abilities we never knew we had. Free from the burden of perceived insurmountable difficulty, we might find the courage to tackle long-avoided challenges. Of course, this work isn't easy, and yes, that's ironic given our topic. It requires courage to look unflinchingly at our own tendencies to exaggerate difficulty. It demands persistence to keep pushing forward even when things genuinely are challenging. And it takes wisdom to discern between acknowledging real obstacles and falling into the trap of defeatism. But the rewards are immeasurable. As we chip away at these ego attributes hiding behind "this is so hard," we don't just improve our own lives, we contribute to a culture of resilience and growth. Each time we reframe a difficulty as an opportunity, we light the way for others to do the same. So where do we go from here? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Start by simply observing yourself. Notice when "this is so hard" or similar phrases arise without judgment. This awareness alone can be transformative. Then, choose one area of your life where you frequently encounter this thought. Perhaps it's at work, in your relationships, or in pursuing a personal goal. Commit to reframing your approach to difficulties in that area for a set period using the strategies we've discussed. Remember, this is a lifelong journey. There will be setbacks and genuinely hard days along the way. But with each step, you're not just changing yourself, you're changing your entire approach to life's challenges. In conclusion, the 4 attributes we've explored, entitlement, righteousness, anger, and victimhood, are not our true nature. They're distortions created by the ego, hiding behind the seemingly innocent phrase, "This is so hard." By acknowledging these attributes and working to transcend them, we liberate ourselves from self-imposed limitations. We open the door to a life of greater resilience, deeper satisfaction, and meaningful achievement in the face of life's inevitable challenges. The choice is yours. Will you remain trapped in the ego's "this is so hard" narrative, or will you embark on the heroic journey of reframing your approach to difficulty? The world is waiting for your decision. So that's it for now. If you liked this video, please share it to spark important conversations about resilience and personal growth. Subscribe for more insights into overcoming mental barriers, and comment with your experiences or strategies for reframing challenges. Thank you for watching. This is Ayla signing off.